Hi, I'm Dave Andreessen, and welcome to 21 Days of Prayer and Fasting. The passage I'm dealing with today is a very common one to me, and probably you as well. And it's taken from 1 Corinthians chapter 11, I think it's verse 24. And it's always talked about with communion. And in the Last Supper, Jesus took bread and he broke it and said, "This is my body for you." And I started to reflect on that because after you hear a passage for so many times and hearing it at least once a month for I don't know how many years, but it becomes old hat. And so I had to kind of reflect on it again. And some things really came to my mind. First of all, the fact that Jesus came. And I'm kind of tying this in off Rachel Wall and what she said in terms of how God knew us before we were born. Well, God's plan was in place before mankind even came onto this earth. And that was really something that really struck me as I thought about it. Because before creation, His plan was in place, and that was God the Son would come to earth and would die on the cross. And as you look at that in terms of how things are today, today is everything about me, about what I want, what I need. It doesn't matter what you think, it's what I think that matters. And that mentality so permeates our society. And it really reminded me of the passage in Philippians chapter 2, verses 5 through 8. And it talks about Jesus humbling himself and taking on the form of a servant. And even the verses leading up to that, it says, don't do anything with selfish ambition. And it says to put yourself aside and put others before you. And so I'm contrasting this passage, the Philippians 2, the 1 Corinthians 11, several other passages in Matthew, Mark, and Luke that talk about the same subject. What are you doing for other people? What are you doing for yourself? How does this all fit into what Jesus was teaching? And the dangerous prayer that I really want you to contemplate for this week, or for this day in particular, is, can I see people as God sees people? Pastor Ryan brought it out so well on Sunday, and I was thinking of that very same thing as I was going to church. And it was funny because he just brought the same thought. So it really impressed upon me that I needed to say this today. And I really want you to contemplate praying that. Help me to see others as God sees them. What does that mean to you? Does that mean that the person that's kind of an outcast, maybe you need to begin, talking with them, seeing what's going on in their life, maybe hearing their story. Maybe it's seeing somebody that's really hurting and saying, maybe I need to say something, a word of encouragement to them, or just to let them know that I'm thinking of them and praying for them. Maybe it's being a peacemaker at home. Maybe it's one of a dozen other things. But what is God dealing with you in terms of seeing people as He sees them? And then secondly, how do you act upon that? And that's where I'm going to leave you today. How are you going to act once you see people as God sees you? Tim told me in closing I need to say that you need to subscribe, hit the bell, and to like. I don't know what that means, but anyway, there it is from Pastor Tim O.